Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video. Today we're going to react to proof Michael Jordan doesn't know how to turn it off. I mean, you just now figuring it out. You should have been new. Like, if Michael Jordan, if you are arguably the greatest player to ever play the game of basketball, why would you turn it off? You should always have your competitiveness up at a high level at all times. You want to know why? Because you're the greatest player of all fucking time. But without further ado, let's get right into this, though. Bitch, play. It's by my boy Cosgrove. We haven't done a Cosgrove video in a minute. We've been stuck on Jimmy Arnett for a long ass time now.
It's no secret that Michael Jordan's competitive nature is off the charts, and was definitely an important ingredient to why he was so dominant. But some would say that maybe he was too competitive and didn't know when to turn it off, especially in situations where nobody would have held it against him had he took it easy and just temporarily took his foot off the gas, so to speak.
He's like, yeah, nigga, I'm taller than you. I'm taller than you.
Competitive self at
you might be the president, but I'm still taller than you, motherfucker.
Issue with that the most was during his Hall of Fame speech. Now, I personally don't have a problem with how he conducted himself that night. I thought it was just Jordan being Jordan. But apparently some did. You might not believe this, but his Hall of Fame speech is considered to be somewhat controversial. He was criticized for taking shots at people instead of concentrating on thanking people, like David Robinson, John Stockton, and Jerry Salone all did in their touching speeches before him.
It's Michael Jordan. What do you expect?
The petty grievances and past slights, and for him to be gracious and show some gratitude. But apparently he had other plans.
But to the coach who actually picked Leroy over me, I wanted to make sure you understood you made a mistake, dude.
Facts.
I didn't think he could beat me.
Talk your talk. Hey, bruh. Hey, bruh. If I make it to the highest level, and I did it, if I did it at the highest level, and I succeeded at the highest level, and I made it to the highest level, so I made it to the NBA. I'm arguably the greatest. Then I became the greatest player to ever play the game of basketball in the NBA. And then I make the Basketball Hall of Fame. I'm talking my shit, nigga. It's not even up for debate, bruh. It's not even up for debate, bruh. It's not even up for debate, bro. I made it to the highest level. I did it at the highest level. And now I'm being recognized at the highest level. I'm talking my shit.
Oh boy. You know, Jerry Krause is right there, and Jerry's not here. Obviously, I don't know who invited him. I didn't. But then you had your little guy, Jeff Van Gundy. He said, I conned the players, I befriended them, and then I attack them on the basketball court. Where did that come from? Brian Russell. If I ever see him in shorts, I'm coming at him.
And that was just like 30 seconds of a 23-minute long speech. MJ was introduced as the greatest player ever, and he's still standing there trying to settle scores. One Hall of Famer said privately later, people had a problem with the fact that he decided to focus on disparaging people who had little to do with his career and just ignored the people who had so much to do with it, like his personal trainer Tim Grover, who didn't really get any recognition at all that night. I guess what they're trying to say is that there's a time and place for everything, and that it was extremely inappropriate, but MJ begs to differ.
I was really explaining to people, about my competitive nature. Most people say that's the worst speech. Okay, that's from your perspective.
Right.
If you understand it from my perspective, then you understand. I saw Pat Riley. He said, I totally understand it. I go to my grave thinking, I say what I wanted to say. I'm not going to change it. And if you don't think it was a great speech, that's what I felt.
Facts.
Once again, I personally don't have a problem with it.
I don't
think
all.
It was petty at all.
Either.
But I have to admit, I believe his actions in this next story kinda was. Jordan's relentless will to win once drove him to cheat in a card game against an old woman. That's right, you heard me correctly. He once tried to cheat his way to victory in a casual card game against an elderly woman. And the woman happened to be his teammate's mother. There is a famous story about Michael Jordan visiting the home of North Carolina teammate Buzz Peterson. And while playing a casual game of cards with Peterson's mother, Jordan attempted to cheat while the old woman was using the bathroom. Even in a friendly card game with nothing at stake, he had no problem pushing the limits of morality. I guess people aren't kidding when they say that he will do anything to win. Now, don't get me wrong, I definitely respect his competitive nature, but I just think he needs to relax a little bit in certain settings, which I believe he fully intended on doing during a charity game back in...
Hell no, always stay competitive. When you the GOAT, always stay competitive. Take no losses in life, ladies and gentlemen. If there is one thing we can all learn from Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, it is take no losses. In life, Jordan is the prime example of take no losses. Fuck being humble. If you the best at what you do, take no losses. Losing is never an option, ladies and gentlemen. It's never an option. Win at all costs. Even if you gotta cheat. Hey, Eddie Guerrero used to lie, cheat, and steal. You don't think I'm gonna do the same thing? Viva la raza. Come on, man. R.I.P. to Eddie Guerrero.
1988, until country music legend Kenny Rogers appeared to want all the smoke. You see, it was actually Kenny Rogers' event called Kenny Rogers Classic Weekend. Everything was going great until Rogers scored on Michael Jordan. Or should I say embarrassed Michael Jordan? That might be a better description, faking him out near the top of the key.
Get out of here, fella. Now, a fake. Kenny Rogers puts Jordan in the box.
Oh, damn.
And hits a 21.
Hey.
That shot.
And of course, Jordan seemed to take it personal. He turned serious after that.
I'm an NBA player. I'm considered one of the best players in the league. You think I'm finna take that loss? Take no losses in life, ladies and gentlemen. Take no losses in life, ladies and gentlemen. Always come out on top.
His revenge immediately after.
Players are faked out of position at times, but not
shit out of here, bitch.
Michael Jordan.
And from there on out, he took over like it was the NBA Finals or something. He even whipped out his famous finger-licking celebration. That's how you know he was serious. It was pretty much all Jordan for the rest of the game, leading his team to victory and celebrating like he just won the championship.
Get off me!
A win is a win.
A win is a win is a win.
Established that MJ's refusal to lose stretched beyond the basketball court, with that competitive fire often being displayed on the golf course. During the 1992 Olympics, Michael Jordan and coach Chuck Daly would hit the golf course. And on one particular occasion, Daly defeated Michael.
Now, you played golf with Michael and beat him?
We were in Barcelona, and we were out there every day, and of course Michael always had a little game going with everyone. I ended up shooting a 78 and beat him one day.
And as you can imagine, MJ didn't take that defeat lightly. The following morning, he went to Daly's hotel room at 4 a.m. and wouldn't leave until he agreed to a rematch.
He beat you one day. You came to his room at 4 o'clock in the morning and said, let's go back. You beat me in golf just like him. And I just ate it. Because I didn't think he was capable of being. So, yes, I wanted to play him in the next available time.
And as expected, MJ got him back and felt the need to send a warning to Daly the following year.
And
I don't blame you.
The next year, and I'm coaching the Nets, and we can't do anything with him. He's scoring at will. He walks by the bench and he says, "Don't ever beat me in golf again." That's his competitive spirit, and he doesn't forget.
Yes, sir.
It's clear that Michael Jordan couldn't stand losing, which is something that John Sally certainly realized firsthand. It's pretty well known that even before he retired and became a billionaire, Jordan had an expensive collection of supercars and would go to games and practices in them, and was nice enough to give his friends a ride sometimes. John Sally was one of the lucky ones to get offered a ride in his Ferrari back then. In fact, they even made plans and everything. That is, until Sally made a crucial mistake. He and his Pistons beat Jordan in his Bulls. That's right, they They were gonna go for a spin in Jordan's Ferrari after the game, but I guess John Sally forgot to read the fine print. Just as long as Sally and his Pistons do not win. Or at least that's the stipulation Jordan had in his head apparently. Now to us, it sounds ridiculous holding it against someone whose job was to go out there and win the game for his team. But remember, we're talking about Michael Jordan here. If he wants to take it personal and have it affect his plans he had off the court that night, then so be it.
Hey, Mike, one time we played Michael, Shannon, he said, yeah, after the game, man. Wow. I said, oh, I can't wait to see it. He goes, yeah, he just got out his deal with Chevrolet so he can drive the Ferrari now in town. And we beat him, and I'm at that. He vroom, vroom. What happened? I ain't hanging out with you.
Sally should have known that Jordan literally didn't know how to leave his competitiveness on the court. He couldn't help himself, like how he would bet his teammates on whose bag would come out first on the luggage carousel, and he would make sure that he was victorious by paying off the baggage handler. Even when he should have been resting on the bench during the timeout, he just had to get in on the action when it came to the Dunkin' Donuts race. A long-time tradition that was shown on the United Center's Jumbotron specifically for the fans. But of course, he just had to turn everything into a wager, and once again went to great lengths to ensure that he won.
One of his most famous cheating things that he used to do was, so when everybody goes to the game, it's still as popular now as it was back then, was the Dunkin' Donuts race, right? Cuppy Coffee, Benny Bagel, whatever it is, you know? Well, so people that understand, they rehearse all that earlier in the day. And the security guys would always watch the race as it was being rehearsed, and then they would go tell Michael who won. And then Michael, if he happened to be sitting on the bench and was out of the game at the time when the race was being run, even though it was during a timeout, he would bet guys. Hey, I'll bet you $1 on, I'll take Cuppy Coffee. But he would also occasionally throw off and let you pick first, even though he already knew who won, so he would throw off and lose. But he probably won 90% of the time, and we found out later that he was always getting the heads up on who the winner was. That's who Michael Jordan was. Win at all costs.
That's why he's everything. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.